McKinney Boyd Broncos played a tough Allen Eagles team on Friday night, lost 34-7 in the end. I'm joined by head coach Don Drake. And Coach, it was a case of Allen got the lead early, and that really goes against your running style. You want to have control of the ball, control the clock, and they just put you into a hole that you couldn't come out of.
No doubt. I mean, they're a really good football team. We knew that coming into the ball game. We knew we had to have some things happen for us early in our favor to give us some momentum. They didn't. They took the momentum from us pretty quickly and never looked back, and it was hard for us to recover.
Their sophomore quarterback, Kyler Murray, he's really emerged this year. He took over the starting job for that team. He really did a nice job, not just throwing the ball, but he was able to really run all over the field. I saw some of his runs. He was shaking everybody.
Yeah, he's a very, very talented kid, and that was the thing we were most concerned about headed into Friday night was his ability to make some plays with his feet, you know. And he was able to do that early in the game the other night, and it put us in a difficult spot, no doubt.
We'll go ahead and roll the highlights. In the first half, you were really pinned back in your own territory the whole entire time. Had trouble converting on first down, or to get some first downs.
We did. We didn't play with very much consistency offensively. Played the game on our end of the field most of the first half, and resulted into them, again grabbing the momentum early and scoring some points, putting us in a hole, and we couldn't really recover.
Now they get a touchdown early to take a 7-0 lead, and they had a couple drives where they could have really pulled away early from your team, but your defense getting a couple of stops, they get an interception of Kyler Murray, and they also, on another drive, get a 3rd-and-goal stop at the 1.
Yeah, and I thought, our defense battled, I thought we played hard and got after it, and, there were a couple of unfortunate pass interference calls on 3rd down that continued drives for them that, we felt like kids made good plays and we would have had them off the field, but instead they, get 15, get a 1st down, and they continued the drive, and both of those drives ended up in points. So, I felt like the kids battled there. You see a goal line stand. We held them to a field goal there. I don't think you're ever really pleased when you give up 34 points, but I thought our kids competed, and I thought they kept competing defensively. Offensively, we just couldn't find any momentum.
What do you tell your players when the flags are flying on the field and you're not necessarily convinced that they really committed a penalty? What are you telling them as far as trying to stay in the game even despite, that adversity?
Well, you just got to keep playing. That's your message. You can only control what you can control, and that is keep playing with the same level of effort and intensity. And if it goes your way, it goes your way, and if it doesn't, you just got to keep going. And so, I felt like that's what our kids did. It frustrated them, no doubt, but there again, we can't control that aspect of it. We can only control our play.
A lot of your linebackers played really well in this game. Adam Jones, for instance. They were running a lot of screen plays, a lot of quick throws. How did you try to defend that?
Well, we just have to match up underneath like we always do. And, I thought it's a great play there by Ben Boucher, our outside linebacker. I thought Ben played a great game defensively. I thought Adam Brown played really well for us at inside linebacker defensively. I thought Paxton Larson played really well at corner for us. You just got to line up and you got to keep playing, and it's frustrating, and it's really frustrating for us when offensively we're being as unproductive as we've been, Friday night, and really the week prior to that against Plano. We've got to find a way to move the football and keep our defense off the field a little bit.
You got a turnover on the punt return from Allen, able to cause a fumble in the 3rd quarter. At that point, they're up 34-0, and you get the turnover, and you feel like you might be able to finally put some points on the board. And then your running back, the sure-handed Brian Driscoll, fumbles the ball. Just bad timing really all night long with these turnovers.
No doubt. You can't turn the football over and win games. We've said that many times, and when we had an opportunity the other night, we did. We put the ball on the ground, and it was frustrating, and it turned out to be that kind of night for us. And fortunately there we were able to get that one back that they stripped on us. Number 5, their safety, is a really good player, and he stripped a couple of footballs from us the other night. Fortunately, we were able to get one of those back. The other one came on a kickoff return there right at the end of the first half.
One of the things I was impressed about with your team was in the 4th quarter, you're down 34-0, but you still have Curtis Ladd lowering his shoulder on some of his runs, trying to fight for every single yards. This team never put their head down and waved the white flag and just wanted to get off the field. They were there to play.
I thought Curtis played really well the other night. He was under pressure several times. I thought his decision-making was pretty good. I thought he ran the ball well. I thought he threw the football pretty well for us, considering he had to throw several away because of the pressure situation. And I think those are things that you don't see statistically when you look at his passing stats. And I think he was 50% or a little bit less than that. You don't understand that some of those incompletions are balls that are being thrown away, so we're not creating a negative yardage play in a sack situation. So, I thought he played well. I thought he stayed composed. Kept playing, kept fighting, and was able to finish it with the touchdown throw there to Slater Brown. So I was really proud of Curtis and his effort Friday night.
And Taylor Fan with the interception return had a nice return after he picked the ball off, set up that last touchdown. Slater Brown's not a guy that gets a whole lot of playing time, but on that last drive, he had 3 receptions, ended up getting the touchdown, a nice grab, for a matter of fact. Talk about this kid and what he's done to work and to get that opportunity to make a big play against Allen.
Well, he's a great kid. He's a hard worker, and he's that kid in practice every day that gives you everything that he's got. And when he gets his opportunities in ball games, you got to take advantage of that. And so the other night he came in, we threw the ball to him several times. He made all those plays, and it was kind of one of those things that you throw it to him, he makes a play, so go give him another chance. And he took advantage of that and did a great job. And hopefully we'll see a little bit more Slater Brown.
What's the trick to erasing this memory of the Allen game as quickly as possible?
Well, I think you got to get focused on your next football game and go to work, and that'll be our message to the kids in practice today as we get started preparing for Plano East. You can't wallow around in your misery and feel sorry for yourself, because that's not going to change the outcome of what happened last week. The only thing you can do is control what's going to happen this Friday night, and for us, that's getting out and getting to work. It's getting prepared for Plano East with the goal in mind of beating Plano East, getting to 3 wins in district, and securing a playoff spot.
Now, Plano East, they have a lot of question marks right now about their quarterback position. They had Mario Smalls go down earlier in the year. He may or may not be ready to play in this game. They also had Taylor McGehee get hurt in their last game. So there's 3 different quarterbacks that you might see in this game. How does that affect the way that your defense prepare, if at all?
Well, I think the biggest thing is there's a lot of unknown there. And the thing about Plano East is they line up offensively in so many different formations and so many different looks. The biggest challenge about Friday night is not necessarily who's playing quarterback, but making sure defensively that you can get lined up to all the things that they like to do offensively. I think they have 65 different formations that they line up in, and that's a lot. And so when you talk about preparing your kids for it, it's about how can we get lined up so that we're sound and we're ready to play defense, and regardless of who the quarterback is, if we can't get lined up right, we're not going to be successful. So we'll spend a lot of time in preparation for that this week. Who knows what quarterback we'll see. I guess we'll find out Friday night when we get there. I don't imagine I could call Johnny Ringo today and he'd tell me which one's going to be out there Friday. So we'll just have to wait and see and warm up on Friday night. But our kids will be ready. They'll be focused, and they'll come out ready to play.
No, I guess he's not willing to give you that
Probably
information
not,
quite
no,
yet.
No.
On defense, with all these different formations, you have to have a general on the field for your defense to kind of help everyone line up, not just getting the call in from the sideline, but on the field. Who is that leader for your defense?
Well, I think Taylor Fan at safety does a great job of that for us. Ross Matisic has been playing a lot of inside linebacker for us. Obviously, Adam Brown's been playing in there. Ben Boucher does a great job at outside linebacker. A lot of times you rely on those experienced senior football players to help you in those circumstances, and Ben Boucher does a great job of that. Taylor Fan does a great job of that. So, they're smart kids. They're football smart kids, and they'll help us in that area.
How motivated is your offensive line right now after struggling to move the ball against Allen? They had such a physical front on their defense. Now they're playing a Plano East team that can give up some points. How motivated are they to really stamp their authority on this game?
Well, they'll be real motivated by Friday night. Okay, we didn't play well this past week. I don't know that we played well against Plano either. We've got to get some things taken care of offensively, and I think Friday night we'll have a better performance.
I think it's a good thing that for the McKinney Boyd Broncos, they're going to be a little angry, looking to take out a little bit of the frustration the last game against Allen, against Plano East. The team is 2-1 in district play. Let's not forget, or actually. Yeah, 2-1 in district play with 2 games to go. With a win, the McKinney Boyd Broncos, they'll be in the playoffs for sure. time to bid farewell after another episode of Sports Talk. As always, a big thanks to all three head coaches of the football programs for being on the show today. The Lions and Broncos try to bounce back from their losses last week. McKinney takes on Allen, while Boyd tackles Plano East. The Bulldogs square off against the Raiders of Wiley East. They need a win in order to stay in the playoff hunt in District 13 4A. Be sure to join us next week for the recap of these upcoming games. From all of us here at Sports Talk, I'm Tyler Sloan. We'll see you next time.